Curtis Calhoun here with MMA News, and right now I am joined by Evelyn Martins, who's getting ready to fight on the PFL Challenger Series. How's it going, Evelyn?
Hi, Curtis. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks again for the time. I really do appreciate it. First things first, what has this last year been like for you? Because PFL fans might recognize your name as someone who was supposed to fight on the PFL Challenger Series last year. You had to withdraw. Now you're getting the second opportunity. How pumped are you for to get back in the cage and doing what you love?
Well, yeah, I was scheduled to fight last year. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, and I'm just so happy that I finally get the opportunity to do this again. And to finally get back inside of the cage, and to show the world my work. And what I'm capable of.
No doubt about it. And Jessalyn Michelle is your opponent. Obviously, a tough matchup. Comes from a wrestling background as well. What do you know about her and her style, and how are you kind of seeing this fight from a style perspective?
Well, what I know about my opponent, about Jesslyn, it's that, like you said, she has a wrestling background. She's 2-0 as a pro. We have a similar, let's say, record. She's 2-0, I'm 2-0. And I think she got some wrestling game. I think she got some boxing game. I've watched her fighting on her last two fights, the Challenger Series. And I think we've been doing the right trainings. We've been getting ready. We've been coming up with a game plan to fight her. And I believe I'll be 100% ready to fight her in any situation. That might be striking game, grappling game. I'll be ready for.
No doubt about it. And this is your first fight at featherweight as well. Obviously, it's got to feel good, not worrying as much about the weight cut. But how much of a relief is that for you to, kind of focus more on your training and your development and focus a little less on cutting all that weight?
Well, it definitely feels great. I did my two professions at bantamweight. I'm a big girl, so it requires like, very, you have to be very focused diet. I always have to take care of little things. I believe I'll be feeling great. Fighting my featherweight would be it's not a great weight class for all the women out there. Because it doesn't make you suffer that much to cut weight, but also it makes me happy. It's gonna make me strong. I can train much harder without thinking I will get hurt or anything. You know, it feels great. It feels great, and I'm just happy that PFL came up with this weight class right now, and I believe it's gonna be great.
Specifically with this matchup against Jesslyn, obviously you come from a kickboxing background, but do you kind of see this fight as a real opportunity to show that you're really well-rounded in your game and that you're not just a striker and that you can do it all in terms of on the ground and on the feet too?
Of course, people will get shocked with me. I believe I've been training hard for so long. I started fighting when I was 11 years old, so I do have a lot of kickboxing and Muay Thai background game. But I've been training grappling a lot. I've done some great grappling matches in here, and the only thing I can say that people should be scared. They should be scared of my striking. They should be scared of my grappling. Because I can be a problem anyway. And I believe this fight will be a great fight to for me to show like I'm a very well-rounded MMA fighter. I can strike you. I can grapple you, and it doesn't matter where the fight's going. I'll just be ready for it.
Absolutely. You've been training down there at American Top Team. Obviously, a big benefit of training down there is you really have no shortage of training partners, right? So who have been kind of your main training partners down there at ATT?
Right. Yes. There's a bunch of great athletes, athletes from all around the world. And I've been training, I do have my sister. She's a very good grappling. She has a very good grappling game, jiu-jitsu and all the stuff. And, she competes a lot of jiu-jitsu. I did a lot of jiu-jitsu tournaments as well back then. And before I started my MMA career, and I've been training a lot with her, been training a lot with my coaches at ATT, getting my wrestling good, getting my grappling game good, being sparring with great athletes, and I think it's gonna be great, And yeah, I'm just so excited to finally have the opportunity to fight. I'm just getting ready, and I try to train with everybody. Get better and get better. It's only my goal.
Especially as a young fighter like yourself, how much is it a benefit for you in terms of being surrounded with all these veterans of the fight game that have, have all this knowledge from all their years of competition? What are some of the biggest things you've learned from some of your teammates down there in terms of not only inside the cage, but also handling life outside the cage too?
Well, being around them, since I'm young and they a little bit older than me, I think I'm the youngest girl at the gym, the youngest fighting at our ATT, and I've learned that a lot of experience. I've learned how to hold some situations while training, while fighting, outside fighting, because I get the opportunity to talk with them about life, and I learned good things from them too. Get it gives me the back and forth experience for me as a young athlete, and for them as a with more experience, time fighting, and all this stuff. So I get to learn a lot from them too. Yeah.
And obviously getting ready to compete right now in the PFL Challenger Series. The great thing about the PFL Challenger Series is obviously we get to see these top prospects like yourself, who are just a few fights into their career, fight for this opportunity to get into the PFL. For those PFL fans that might not be as familiar with your career so far, how would you describe your fighting style in the cage? What can they expect when you walk in there for your fight?
Well, I describe my fighting style, as a complete martial artist. Like I said, I am getting ready to fight my opponents in any situation. I go to the fight, I go happy, I'm calm, I'm very focused. I know what I have to do. I get there, I put my game plan, and that's it. There is not much of playing around for me. It's always focus on what I have to do and get my job done. That's how I do.
Absolutely. And who are some of your favorite fighters to watch around the sport that you may take a thing or two to learn from them and add them to your own game too? Who are some of your favorite fighters to watch?
Well, besides me, because I am my favorite fighter, I do like to watch all the women's fighters, all the boys fighters. I think training at ATT, I cannot only say one or two because I love watching all of them. And then it's kind of really hard for me to say just one or two because, like I said, I get to see all of them training besides me every day, and how come I'm not gonna cheer up for all of them? So I don't think I really have one specific.
When you first started training, was there somebody that you almost kind of looked up to? Because obviously in Brazil, you have legends like Anderson Silva. Did you have anybody that, you kind of looked at and were like, yeah, I want to follow that path in terms of fighting and competing?
Well, like you said, Anderson Silva. Oh my God, he was a beast. I remember when I was like really young, but the age of 9 or even 7, I was watching UFC and I was watching him fight, and like I said, I did my first training when I was 7, but I started really fighting when I was 11. And, because I started kickboxing and Muay Thai fights, I didn't really know much about MMA, all this stuff. But just one day I was in a restaurant with my family, and my first MMA fight that I ever watched was Ronda versus Miesha Tate. So Ronda Rousey and Miesha Tate were fighting that night. I was like, oh, I didn't know girls could do that too, And back then I used to watch only boys like Anderson Silva, Vitor Belfort, all the big names from Brazil. But I haven't ever like really stopped watching girls fighting. So I looked it up to the fight. I was like, I like that. I think I want to do that. Because if you ask me what do I like the most, striking or grappling, it's a hard answer for me. So that's why I decided to become an MMA fighter so I can do both in one place. So that's how it started for me.
Absolutely. And when you have some time to relax and take your mind off things and outside the gym, what do you like to do for fun? What are some of your hobbies outside of MMA and competing and training?
Well, I do love to play soccer we're Brazilians, you know. By the way, unfortunately, I'm so sad that we lost this year. Last year on the World Cup, but I believe we're gonna get better and then we'll come back stronger. I love soccer. I love to play soccer. When I'm not training, I'll go to the church with my family. You know, I love to be in the church. You know, praying and praising God. You know, it makes me re-energize myself and get ready for another training week and all the stuff. Um, you know, I like to go out with my family to some friends sometimes. You know, catch a movie. Oh, I don't know, even riding a horse. I used to ride horses almost every day back then in Brazil. Unfortunately, I cannot do that here. But when I do have some chance to do it, I do it because I like it. And then yes, that's pretty much it about it.
Absolutely. Well, last question for me, Evelyn. Once again, I really do appreciate the time. What's your message to all the fans back home who are getting ready to watch you fight? And what can we expect in the PFL Challenger Series?
Well, I think you guys can expect a great fight, of course, and you can expect from me the best out of myself. I'm gonna go there well prepared, and I'll definitely gonna give a show to all of you. And I just want to thank all the fans back in Brazil. They're super excited. My family back there is super excited to finally see me fighting. You know, I have some friends, and you know, I'm just so excited. I'm happy, and I promise you guys it's gonna be a great fight. I'm gonna put a show out there, and I'm ready. I'm ready to get that contract.
Absolutely. Well, we're excited to watch you fight, Evelyn. It was great to meet you. Great to chat with you. All the best with these final few weeks of camp, and I'm sure we'll chat again soon. Thank you so much.
Yes, yes, same. It was very nice to meet you, and we get back maybe anytime soon.